But generally, what are your thoughts? What do you think most people are struggling with? What is it that you can really say, like, if people just stopped doing that and really just changed up, they would be more profitable, they would make progress?
Yeah, it's a couple things. Number one is losing money. As simple as that sounds, is traders tend to lose more money than they should. So the number one thing that I would do is set a max loss auto liquidation at your broker level. So what that means is if you hit this number, your broker automatically liquidates you, right? It takes the hands off the button for you and the machine automates it. So the problem is that let's say you make $100 a day. I think you should set your max loss auto liquidation to no more than 2 days worth of trading. So if you make $100 a day, if you're at minus 200, system liquidates you and kicks you out. The problem I see is that people make $100 a day and they lose 2,000. They lose 20 days worth of work. They lose freaking 3 weeks of trading after one losing day. So if you're able to limit your losses, that's number one. Number two is make sure that you're actually learning a strategy that works. A lot of people, they get involved in YouTube, social media, and they're learning strategies that are outdated. They're learning strategies that don't freaking work. And also make sure that the person you are learning from is not only him making money, but the students are making money as well. So I can make money, knock on wood, but it doesn't mean anything if I can't teach anyone that skill. So never judge someone based on their own profits, because number one, in this industry, there's a lot of frauds out there. Make sure there's the broker statements, make sure there's the confirmation, which I love that you're doing now at the podcast, is everyone is broker verified, legitimate people. So that's awesome.
People thingy, yeah. That was an interesting.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
100% is. I think what was interesting about that was I was vocal before that. I didn't start every podcast saying this is not a verified trader.
Yeah.
It was giving me. I never asked anyone, simply because on my come up, it was a case where it was like, who was I? You know what I mean? Like, who was I to ask people?
Sure.
I had like 10K subs or whatever. Sure. But then we grew so fast, and it got to a point where it was like, I need to do something, but I should. My worry was, and it was thanks to, one, doing interviews with like you and Luis Borsellino. That New York trip a few months back really opened my eyes, alongside Jack Schwager as well. Because it was like, when I was speaking to Jack, I mentioned these things to him, because I asked him, like, how did you get all these people to give you, proof essentially for your books? And he was like, obviously the first one was people he knew. But after that, that book became so famous, people were just sending it to him. And then that's why like Unknown Market was full of people who weren't essentially famous. So it opened my eyes to thinking like, I can do that. And another reason was I thought that as a retail podcast, like, why would any professional sit with me or anyone who's performing at such a high level? So I always just kind of capped myself into this bubble of like, I can only do retail traders and influencers and just do my best to pick the right ones. I always tried to like do verification through like these prop firms, payouts, or from people who live trade. But it's not good enough, if we're at a level now where we want to increase the quality, then we have to do verification.
I'm excited for you, because now it's going to bring a whole new level of traders as well, which I'm interested to learn about too.
That's the fun bit. Yeah, that's the fun bit. But as you were saying though, in terms of
so
verified traders,
max loss, auto liquidation, learn from someone that can prove that their methods are repeatable to other people and not just himself. Because there's people that are amazing traders, but not great teachers, right? And if anyone says that trading is easy, you're going to make money overnight, run the other way. I'm telling you, trading is hard. It's going to take time. It may take a year. It may take 2 years. I've seen people make it faster. But the thing is, if you're not willing to dedicate at least a year, maybe even 2 years of taking it seriously, then don't even try. Don't even try. Right?
I love that. To finish up on, it was like the topic we started with, and I think it's the perfect question to ask you as well, as someone who's done it. But equally, I think we're going to see changes moving forward. Obviously, with Trump coming in, the markets will probably have some sort of shift many times, probably in the 4-year period, if he lasts the 4 years, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so like changing strategy or changing like edge changes. What does that look like? Is it the whole entire edge that's changing? Is it just slight adjustments? Like, what are you looking for? How do you make those sort of changes? Any sort of insights that people can just have in mind in case they need to do the same?
Yeah. I think something to understand is the market moves in cycles. There's certain cycles where, stocks are overly bullish. There's certain cycles where stocks are overly bearish. There's certain cycles where stocks pop and drop. There are certain cycles where they end up grinding back. The thing is to understand what type of cycle you're in. And the way to understand that is what is going on that current week in the market, right? So, for example, right now, as we're recording this, the entire market is going straight up, straight up, straight up based on Trump, right? Chances are it's not going to last forever. There has to be a profit-taking day. There has to be consolidation. There has to be everything. So to be in tune with the markets, you'll be able to see when the cycle is adjusting, but also to not be too early on that adjustment, not to say, all right, the profit-taking has to happen. I'm going to do it today. Wait for the confirmation and then join the trend, right? They always say the trend is your friend, right? It's so simple, so simple. But if you anticipate, it's not the way to do it. Wait for the confirmation, wait for the signal, wait for something to tell you, like PHUN, the signal was the CEO quitting. That was the catalyst. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be for a certain profit-taking day. It might be the Fed, it might be whatever, but wait for some sort of signal to tell you that the cycle is changing rather than just your bias.
Yeah. Do you think that's where a lot of people go wrong? Is they're constantly trying to predict?
And they say that it worked last month. Why isn't it working this month? Let me
That's
just keep
always
doing
the
it.
mistake, isn't it? Like when it works the one time. It's like, let's say you have a rule, don't trade Monday. But then you trade Monday that one time, it works.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're trading every Monday after that.
Exactly.
And it's not working.
Exactly. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, but like I made $100,000 in January of 2020. Motherfucker, we're not in January 2020 anymore. We're in 2024. The shit is different. It's very different. So they keep that in their head. It's like a syndrome where you're like, but I made this much money in January doing this. I have to just keep doing this to make money. No, that's not how it works. You have to adjust and adapt because that is not working anymore.